Hi, my name is Daniel. I'm almost 4 years sober, and I'm an alcoholic. Going back to my childhood, I had it really well. I grew up in a desert area, so there wasn't really much for me to do, chasing rabbits and snakes, playing outside. But as all this was going on, I was outside. There was a lot going on in the home that was kept from me until a later age. I actually did not start drinking until I was 21 on my 21st birthday. That's when it all started, and it escalated pretty quickly because I found that it made me more sociable. When I was drunk, I was the best dancer in the world. I was the best singer. I could do anything, and because people were laughing when I was doing it, so I didn't stop. I never drank because, like, oh, I like the taste of beer. Oh, I like the taste. I always drank with the intent to become drunk. It escalated pretty quick to where I was drinking. It was the first thing when I knew I came home from work, knowing that I didn't have to leave anywhere. Once I got home, I would just start drinking and just whatever was on hand. There were points throughout it where I felt that it was becoming concerning for me, that I started doing it on my own. It was just all the time. But I'm also the son and grandson of alcoholics, so I was already predisposed to head down that road. This was all in conjunction with what I later found out was diagnosis for depression. From age 17 to 27, I was just suffering silently, multiple suicidal thoughts, and just that collectively with all the things I later found out about my family, it just caused me to drink and drink even more, which increased my level of depression and just focus on anything. I went from job to job just because I wasn't performing. This was back in, I think, 2009. It was what I feel was my lowest point. It was a mix of just the everyday stressors, and I believe it was an argument with my wife. And there's just so many triggers that you use to get mad, to get angry. And prior to this day in December, I had, throughout the week, multiple, thoughts of suicide again, and I reached a point where that voice in my head is just, it's the easiest thing to do. You don't have to deal with anything anymore. So I was in my kitchen. I had just finished, drinking. I don't remember what I was drinking, and I put a knife to my wrist, and looking back on it, I didn't do it with the intent, I guess, to end my life. Because as soon as I did it, I felt real pain, and I stopped. But the voice inside my head was a lot stronger. And there was a minor injury I had some painkillers. So that voice inside me just came right back and said, oh, there's another way for you to do it. Just take all those and finish what you're drinking, and then you'll be good. At that moment, what I consider, I would say divine intervention is, I don't know what I was working on, but the laptop was open. Something told me, get help. There's too much lined up for you to go out like this. So I called, I just searched a crisis hotline. I called it, and they instructed me that, I was on the right path. So what I had done is quietly collected some belongings and things for 3 days in a bag, because I knew what I was heading into my wife was napping at the time. So I snuck out because I knew if it came to her attention that there would be that conversation, and I'd be like, oh, I'll be okay, maybe I shouldn't do it. So I made the decision to just sneak out and go in it. When I got to the hospital and I had admitted myself, I let her know what my plan was, and it made it a solid plan. I was then taken to a mental health facility in Chino, and that was the craziest experience of my life. I felt that I had hit rock bottom too, because as I was admitted there, it was the point to when they had taken my shoelaces from me, and everything I had on me they took from me. And that was one of the moments where I felt that this is very serious. But at the same time, I was very grateful that I was in that environment. They have a number of different sessions. One of them was a spirituality portion of it, and they had brought in these Bibles for everyone to read. And growing up, I had always, picked up the Bible and read it, but this is the first time it kind of called to me. My wife and I kind of back and forth talking as I was in there. She was on the outside finding churches, so when I was released, we started attending, church, which had a recovery program for me, which what I feel was the first step to my sobriety. And I feel that it had a really big impact on me because I was in this secure group of men, as young as 18 to 55, and just to see them, in tears, leaning on one another, and it made it more real. And it's knowing them and knowing other people through the church, and finally coming forward to my family. It was a big shock to my family because, as everything was kept from me, I kept everything from them. So there's not. We all get along fine, love each other, but I think there's stronger relationships that still need to be built and mended. But the best thing that I did was created accountability and a safety net for me to fall into. So rather than just having one person watch over you all the time, wherever you go, you feel that you have an anchor in your goal of staying sober. It was shortly after that my wife and I, we really tried to detox our old habits and all, and decided to to get pregnant. We have a little girl now. At this point, my wife and my daughter, they're the biggest support for me. It adds so much meaning to just see them. I mean, life isn't perfect. People have arguments and everything, but knowing that you have a partnership with someone and you've created another child, it gives life more meaning. I mean, I'm still daily struggling. Like if I go to the supermarket, I'm purchasing a big thing of water. If I ever have to walk down the aisle that has all the wine and liquor, it's like a 5-mile walk. And I hear bottles clinging, and it's everywhere. You can't escape it. It's billboards, TV, internet, it's everywhere. So I am definitely in a good spot. I have a lot to look forward to, especially through the accountability that I made. There was a previous job I had where I had a coworker. She had let me know that she was in recovery too, and she was at her 10-year mark. And then one day she came to work, and she actually gave me her 3-year chip, which I had just hit at that time, and it was so meaningful to me that I went home, drilled the hole right through it, and wear it around my neck. So I always have it. I swim with it, shower with it, sleep with it on, and it's the smallest little piece of metal, but it's the greatest accomplishment in my life. Through accountability and proper treatment, I feel that I've really been saved from my addiction. With the alcohol abuse and the depression, there was also a bipolar disorder in there. Letting everybody know took away I'm not suffering anymore. I may be struggling, but I'm no longer suffering because people know. And it's a battle every single day, but I seem to win every single day.